Good morning, everybody. Shefa Brucha Vatzluchu, parashat Shuvah, parashat Vayigasch. And here we see an interesting episode. Things are happening, and one of the unbelievable things that we're talking about is realizing that the brothers of Joseph suddenly realize that this is Joseph. He says, Ani Yosef ha'od avichai. I'm Joseph. Is my father still alive? And they said that this is let's say, a sentence that is the hardest rebuke in the whole Bible. Because this is the way that it's going to happen to us. We think we can play games and do whatever we want to, and then, when we're going to stand in front of God, He knows exactly what we think and what we do and what we thought of thinking of doing. The brothers stand in front of Joseph, and suddenly they realize that for 22 years they lived a mistake, and a terrible mistake. They sold their brother. They wanted to kill him. And all the dreams come true. He's standing in front of them. He's telling them, I am Joseph. And they wouldn't see it. It was so hard to understand. And sometimes we ask ourselves, this Joseph is a great tzaddik. How does he act this way? How can he go through this whole procedure he went through and still love his brother and be happy because God is with him everywhere, and God is not with somebody who is sad. It doesn't matter where he is. He's in jail, he's a slave, whatever it is. There is this story, I think I told you about it a few years ago. Every time I remember the story, it's unbelievable. This guy, he goes to a restaurant in New York, a fancy restaurant, one of the best ones. And he goes in this restaurant, wow, everything is the best of the best chandelier, the best cutlery, the best, and everything looks so beautiful and so nice. And he orders an entree, an hors d'oeuvre, or whatever you call it. Suddenly he sees two tables near him, on the right side, sits a Jew, and he hates Jew, and all the taste, everything. He couldn't bear it that a Jew is sitting there in this fancy restaurant. So what should he do? Should he go to him and hit him, curse him? It's an intelligent place. You don't behave like this. So what should I do? He thought he's got an idea. He calls the waiter and says, please give everybody here a bottle of wine. I'm paying. He says, what bottle of wine? Every bottle of wine is around $100 a bottle, at least. It's no problem. So we've got here 30 tables. He says, no, only 29. This table over there, where the Jew sits, you don't give him wine. He says, okay, you pay. Gave everybody a bottle of wine, except the Jew. And he looks at the Jew, he wants to say, now he's going to be disappointed, he's going to be ashamed, abused. He's smiling. He says, why is he smiling? So what should I do? So he calls the waiter again and says, main dish, what have you got? He says, this and that. How much? He says, $150. It's $150. Wow. Okay. Everybody on my account. I'm paying. Except the Jew over there. So this guy says, you sure? Your account is... I said, I'm good for it. Don't worry. So he's giving everybody the main course. Except the Jew. Now he's going to be ashamed, abused. He looks at him and he smiles even the smile is even bigger. He says, what's going on here? He calls the waiter. Dessert. Everybody dessert except of this one. He says, mister, you're already, quite a few $1,000s that it's going to cost you. He says, don't worry, I'm good for it. You do it. He's giving everybody dessert, except the Jew. He looks at the Jew, now it's going to work. And he looks at the Jew, and the smile is from side to side. He's happy. He couldn't stand it anymore. So he got up, went to this Jew, says, I want to understand, I abused you. I gave everybody a bottle of wine. And you smiling. I gave everybody a main course, and you smiling. I gave everybody dessert except a few, and you even smile went bigger. What's going on here? He says, I am the owner of the restaurant. And this is exactly the way we look at the world. The world treats the Jews this way, other way. Joseph knew that eventually he's going to get to the best place in the world. And that's what he got. He had a dream, and he knew this dream is a prophecy. So wherever he were and whatever he went through, he didn't care. He was smiling. He says, because this is only going to bring me to the best way. I'm going to get the payment eventually. So he was in jail. So he was a slave. So he was going, his brother wanted to do this and that. Eventually he became the ruler of Egypt, the second in command. After Pharaoh says, nobody's going to move anything if you don't say so. So if you know, and you trust God, and you believe that it's going to come true, you smile. It's like somebody who knows when he's building a building and working very, very hard, and he knows that every stone he's putting there, it's going to get millions. So he's doing it, and he's working himself hard, more and more, because he knows, I'm going to get millions here. And he smiles. And this is what each one of us should feel. This is the truth. This is the light of Hanukkah that we had this week. To lighten up this darkness. We look at things and we think, this is glittering, this is the thing, this is what? Oh, this is the best thing in the world. Like I told you last week, I gave a drasha between Mincha and Mariv in a synagogue here. And between Mincha and Mariv was the Mondial, the game. A few people ran home to light the candles, not to miss the game. So Simon, that's exactly the idea of the game. Oh, this is the Greek culture. This is the Hellenistic culture. That game, that's exactly what the light of Hanukkah want to show us. What is the truth and what is... Unfortunately, this is life. This is how people, they look at the outside. They don't see what's inside. It's like, I don't know if I told you now, 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, I've been in an exhibition in Antalya in Turkey. And we went to exhibition. We thought it's going to be a big exhibition. It was quite a small exhibition, but like God put there all the things we need. Unbelievable. Siyata Dishmaya. But the interesting thing is that 2 weeks later we went to the factories to visit and see who is what and what do they really do. And you know, there was this biggest place, and when we came to factory, it was the smallest factory of all. Like a small factory. Good stuff, but small factory. And there in the exhibition were huge. And from the other side, we saw a few very small stands. And when we got to the factory, it was an unbelievable modern big factory, a few hundred workers. So what you see in real life, it's not always what it really is. The big shows in the exhibition were small factories. The small ones were unbelievable factories. Last week I've been in Dubai. The Chinese did they had a very good idea. Because you cannot go to China because of the corona, so they did the exhibition that's supposed to be in China, in Shanghai. They did it in Dubai. But they did it, the idea is brilliant, and for us it was very good, but it was very small booths, and they put people there that didn't know even what they're talking about. They don't, a few items, not a lot of items, and people not professional. And if you wanted to have a discussion or something, it was a computer was there, and you had to, on Zoom, to talk with this lady or man that is on the other side of the world, and to explain to him, he explains to you. The funny thing is that a few of the factories I know, and you know, they had such small booths with nothing there, but they're really, really big factories. And again, each one of us just look around and see. We see it everywhere. We see that what looks from the outside glittering and big sometimes is very small. Also a person can do a lot of wind. Look at all those politicians. What's going on here? Baruch Hashem. We have the power. What do they do with the power? Fighting with each other. And from the other side, the panic of the lefties. Wow, what's going to be? What's going to be? Well, nothing is going to be. Olam kemina noeg. Same thing, the same story. But they talk so much. It's a minority, so a few people, and it makes so much noise that people are starting to get fried. Well, what's going to be? And this is exactly the story of Joseph. Joseph knew where he's going, and it didn't matter where he was always keeping the right way. This is Yosef HaTzadik. And he was going through difficult times. But at the end of the day, he was the ruler of Egypt. And the brothers, they couldn't believe. And just this morning I was talking about it from Betem Chelkeinu. And he told them when you're going back home, be very careful on the way and don't start discussing halacha things and other things. And why? What's wrong? He says, you see, at the end of the day, those are the tribes, the 12 tribes. Those are they are tzaddikim. And when they realized the mistake, the big mistake they did, they didn't know how to handle it. And they were frightened that maybe because of this misjudgment, maybe something is wrong with their way of thinking, and who knows what else they did wrong, and what else they unfortunately can make wrong in the future. So Joseph was afraid that they're going to discuss this whole thing, and from the discussion they're going to, you are the blame, you are the blame, what we do, and they will get into danger. So he says, I'm asking you not to start discussing a law thing. And then another midrash says, it says, don't go quickly, don't go bechipazon, not hasty, go look where you're going. It's like that you wouldn't chas v'shalom, something happened on the way. And says Be'er Yosef in the book, he writes, this is exactly what he told him, because he told him, with somebody, he's going on the wrong way, and he wants to fix it. So Joseph is telling them, you know what your problem was? You decided to kill me before I even got closer to you, and then you sold me. You didn't even think for a minute, maybe you're wrong. And those decisions are decisions that you cannot change. If you kill somebody, he's dead. So what is he telling them? Don't be hasty. If each one of us, have a decision, it's good to make a decision, especially good decision, but if this decision, especially if this decision is something that you cannot change later on, it's one way, you cannot take it back. Before you decide, think. Maybe even consult with other people. But don't do it in haste. Even if you think it's the best thing in the world. Like the brothers, that's what they thought. And this is for each one of us. Sometimes we say things and then we regret. Why? But you said it. You cannot take your words back. And also in action, sometimes we do actions and then we regret the action. Why did we do this? Because we didn't think enough. So what Joseph is telling to each one of us, look at the picture. Look not only on the outside, but also on the inside, what is really there. And if you are taking a decision, especially a crucial decision, don't be hasty. Calm down, settle down, and then think, is this the right decision or not? And in this way, we will prevent a lot of mistakes that we do sometimes. What's from outside, from inside, it's like when they come to the father and they tell him, Yosef Chai, Moshel v'Mitzrayim. Yosef is alive and he rules Egypt. So the first thing Yaakov thinks, wow, I lost it. He is in the impurest place, in the most corrupted place in the world, and he rules it. So he is the king of corruption. He is the king of impurity. What's going to be? But then, when they tell him, no, you didn't understand, Father. Hu moshel b'Mitzrayim. He is on top of it. He didn't change his way. And then, remember, I gave him the right tools. It's the same thing, same procedure that Yaakov went through. Im Lavan garti v'tayag mitzvot shamani. I was with Laban a rasha, evil Laban. And I kept the mitzvahs. I went to those, and my son was also successful. And one of the signs that suddenly he feels the Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit comes back to him, and he sees the agalot, the wagons that Pharaoh or Joseph sent to him. And then he writes, reminds me what he was talking about. Now there are a lot of explanation about what was going on here. But one of the beautiful explanations is that he's really reminding him about the agalot of the Nesi'im, of the princes. And if you remember that each two took one wagon and 2 oxes to show that they are together. And this is what Joseph told him. Doesn't matter what I went through and what my family did to me. We are together now. Together, not only from the outside, but also from the inside. This is Yosef HaTzadik. Unbelievable guy. His brother don't believe him that he is such a tzaddik. So he is convincing them, telling them, don't worry, I'm your brother, and no, you didn't do anything, it's God. God did everything. You were the messengers, and on the contrary, you only, what you did is the best thing in the world. Look where I am. I'm the ruler of Egypt, and now Yaakov, our father, and you can come here and have food and everything, and I provide you everything, and this has all come out from what? That you sold me. So is it good or bad? It's good, unbelievable. It's like the story I always tell you about this king who had a diamond, a big diamond, precious diamond. He was so happy, so proud about it. Yeah, one day something happened, and there was a scratch or something there, and he didn't know what to do. He called all the professionals and all the diamond people, all the cutter and the thing of that. And they looked at us and said, sorry, the only way to fix it is when we cut it, and then you have two small diamonds, or even 3, who knows. He didn't know what to do. Then one clever guy came to him and says, show me the diamond. He looked at the diamond and says, my dear king, I'm going to make this diamond worth double. The king says, what, you crazy or something? How can you do this? Impossible, impossible. Everybody tells you have to cut it. He says, look, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take this scratch and ingredient inside more, and I'm going to scratch inside the stone the crown. So you have the biggest stone with a crown in it that shows you of your kingdom. Wow, unbelievable. So not only it's not going to lose from the value, it's going to be double the value. And this is what Joseph is telling to the brothers. What, you think you scratched me? You did something wrong with me? Nothing. Look what came out of it. A king. I'm ruling everything. And on the contrary, much, much better thing. And again, this is exactly the story. Don't look how things look from the outside. Look from the inside. And if you have to make a decision, especially a crucial decision, an important decision, don't be hasty. Think before you do it. Check out what is really there. Don't be tempted with how it looks from the outside. Don't be tempted with this shiny world. Be tempted from the light of Chanukah, and take it to the daily, normal days that we are in front of. All the best, and Shefa, Bruch, Vatzluch.